like to demonstrate today is a calf stretch. And the calf stretch I feel like is one that is oftentimes not done well. And most people don't understand all the positions you need to get in order to achieve the type of changes that you're looking for in your calf. This is oftentimes for runners, for people that are on their feet a lot, because you get a lot of tension both within some of the big muscle groups, but then also between some of the layers of the other nearby adjacent muscle groups. And so you have to think about getting in all the different positions, and I think that's what sets this stretch apart from how most people stretch their calf, and why most calf stretches I feel like just don't work nearly as well as this one, is you have to get the movement and all the different planes of motion that you can do with your knee, calf, ankle, so that you can get a good stretch in through there. So we're going to start out. You need a wall, you need a calf, you need an ankle. We'll show with the right side here. So you're going to start out with your body and calf basically straight. So we need to lock the knee, and we need to then come forward, bending your ankle as far as you can in order to feel a good stretch through the entire calf. If your wrists bother you, you can do this with your forearms instead, but we'll just show with the hands for now. So from here, we've got a good stretch right down the middle of the calf, right down the center of the channel, but we don't really have the outside or the inside of the calf. And so in this locked knee position, we think about doing two cross-plane motions, so we can either shift the hips left or right, or we can rotate left and right. And when I'm rotating or when I'm shifting left and right, I'm using my hip, I'm using my knee, and I'm using my foot and ankle. So when I rotate to the side, it's mostly going to be in the hip, the knee doesn't move, and there's a little bit of roll to the outside of the foot. When I go to the inside, same thing, mostly hip, a little bit of foot. When I rotate, I really have to create more of an arch under my foot and roll to the outside of my foot. And when I'm rotating the other direction, I'm allowing my foot to collapse a little bit and coming into the big toe in this one. So if I'm really doing this for reals, I'm loading up like this, and then I'm going to push left and then maybe rotate a little bit to the right. And then coming back, push to the right, and then rotate left, rotate right. I'm trying to explore all the various combinations of movement that I can in order to get all the tissues to relax and to get all the layers to relax in between tissues. So that's lock knee. The next one we're going to do is relax the knee. So the heel maybe comes up a tiny bit, but we're basically just relaxing the knee. And as you do this, you should feel the stretch migrate from up by the knee to down towards the ankle. And then we're going to repeat all the movements that we just did. So we're locked in the flexion, then we can push to the right, push to the left, rotate right, rotate left, and all the various combinations thereof. So when I find something that feels especially high payoff, I'm going to hang out there. And what I mean by that is that you feel a good sort of juiciness to the stretch. It's got a feeling where you can really feel like you're on something important. It feels like it takes a little bit of time to relax. Just hang out there for a little bit. And other than that, you're sort of searching with the various combinations of movement to get to find the next target, basically. So next position, we're going to bend even a little bit further. And the thing that changes with this part is that we're doing less with the hip now and more happening with the knee. So as I rotate out to the side, I'm really doing more like swinging my knee out to the side or swinging my knee to the inside. And this emphasizes the lower part of the calf and more down near the ankle, some of the tendinous stuff that crosses the ankle. And I feel especially strong stretch on this inside and down and through here, so I can play with the amount of bend to the inside. I can play with the amount of rotation that I have here, and even the amount of flexion extension that I get in there to really target that tissue that I'm feeling when I do that. The next position we're going to do is come all the way down to the floor. We're going to put as much weight on the heel as we can through my right hand. So I'll lean back into that back side, and then I'll roll my heel in, I'll roll my heel out. There's one cross plane motion. I can also float my knee off the ground and turn my knee in, turn my knee out, and any combinations of these movements are all fair game. The last one, which you can do as a bonus if you want to, is to keep your toes extended and then move your knee forward and back. So as I move my knee forward and back, some structures are going to stay tight while others are going to get a stretch. So I might move my knee in and out when I do this. I can roll my heel towards the little toe, towards the big toe, and all these various types of movement. We repeat this for the other side as well. So we're going to do left side, we'll do right side, or right side and left side. And a couple things to keep in mind with this stretch. One, I already mentioned, you're going to be spending several minutes on this stretch. So if your wrists bother you, go ahead and go to your forearms instead of your hands for this. And sometimes also people will have some irritation in their knee, either a meniscus or the stretch doesn't really feel good on their knee. And generally we find that avoiding the rotation takes that problem away. So if I'm in this position here and I find that twisting irritates the knee, then I'll just only do the glide left, glide right, and usually that takes care of that knee problem. Any of the stretches that are uncomfortable, sometimes people find this one down in through here is a little bit uncomfortable, so you can just come forward a little bit, take tension off your toes and feet, or you can come back and put a lot of tension on there. I suppose I should also mention with the setup of this, you have to be barefoot with this one. You really can't do it well with shoes on because you need to be able to roll onto your little toe, onto your big toe. This pronation, supination movement you have to be able to do, and you just can't do it well with shoes. And when we're really trying to improve mobility in the first place, you can't be mobile if you're wearing shoes. Most shoes anyway don't really allow good foot articulation, so you have to take your shoes off and be barefoot. Works a lot better. That's a lot of stretching. It's a lot of time. I think it's probably going to take maybe 5 minutes per side for this one. So this is kind of an intensive one. Probably for most people, 1 time per day is going to be plenty for this. And after a couple of weeks of doing this every day, I think you'll feel a pretty big change with your calves. One other bonus you can do with this is if you find a point is particularly tender in your calf, so you've got, right in here is really tight and tender, doesn't really seem to want to let go, you can use either a foam roller or a trigger point ball or something like that to go after those tight spots and try and loosen those up first, and then stretch second will give you a little bit better release in there as well. And it would be a mistake of me not to mention that part of the reason that people have these problems in the first place is they're not wearing appropriate shoes. So if you're wearing high heels or shoes with a lot of drop, so the heel of the shoe is much thicker than the front, it tends to cause a lot of calf tightness as well as shifting the load forward on the front of your foot. So good footwear choices can make a big difference in terms of calf health as well. But this is one of the stretches I feel like shows the principles of cross-plane motion and loading a complex tissue in a lot of different directions, and it really takes all those motions to work out a problem. So if you've tried calf stretches before and they just haven't worked, give this one a try and see what you think.